Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Zane, a day late. It is July the 1st. Welcome to July. We're halfway through the year. Wow, how about that? Almost halfway. 286th edition of Speaking of Zane. Wow, who'd have thought when we began this thing several years ago that we would make it to 286, coming up on 300. We should celebrate when we get to the 300th episode somehow. When would that be? That would be what, 10, 14 weeks from now, something like that. So by the end of the year. But good to have everybody in here on a Monday night. Sorry, I got so carried away with things yesterday on Sunday, and just the time got away from me. And I'm like, well, instead of half-ass this, let me just put it off till tomorrow. And here I am. I've had some time to do a little show prep, and good to have you all in here for Speaking of Zane, 286th edition. Well, let's see who we've got in here. My buddy Daryl is in here. More about him in a minute. Steve Shirley's in here. Good to have you in there, Steve. Ken Pesic is in here. Back home, Ken. Ken had a little trip to the Virginia, D.C. area. More about that in a minute. Lori is in here. She's downstairs. Hadn't been feeling too good. In fact, she was just telling me she was vomiting. How about that for news there? But no, she's, if you remember a few weeks ago, she had some abdominal surgery, and she has not quite recovered to the extent that she had hoped she would by now. But she is on here with us. Very rarely will she miss Speaking of Zane. Jimbo Miller's in here. Hey, Jim. Have you in there? Peggy's in. Peggy. Carl and Peggy are in here from Warsaw, Missouri, the Show Me State. And my dad's in there. Hey, Dad. Dad's down in South Georgia. Dad's been doing a little home beautification work like he ever stops at. He's been doing so many things to the house. They bought this house. Gosh, when was it, Dad? When he retired from the Marines back in about 82, 83, I guess. And over the last 5 years or so, he's really been cranking up the renovations and stuff. And looked like he was putting some new siding on this past week in 100-degree weather. And he's almost an 80-year-old man. But my sister and I just don't know how he does it, but he does. And I can't wait to get back down there and see his latest renovation work there. Hopefully before now. I think I've finally convinced him to take a trip to my Warriors place, and I think sometime in August. Now it's going to be hotter than Hades down there, but it'll still be good. But at least he's entertaining the idea. I've given him a couple of weeks to choose from. And really one of the reasons we're going down is it's Lori's 60th birthday in August. Lori, can you believe it? She does not look 60. She has very soft complexion, but she does not look 60. But it'll be her 60th birthday, August the 11th. And so we thought it would be a good idea to run down there. We hadn't been down there in forever, and we need to get down there. We need it. Trust me, we need it. I need to get away. And anyway, so we're thinking about that for Lori's birthday, maybe spending a week down there over the weekend or into the next weekend or something. We'll figure it all out. But anyway, I've asked my dad and my sister to come along. And anyway, so we'll work all that out. But it doesn't have to be in August, but whenever we're all available to go. But anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at. But Lori and I have to drive right past my dad's house on the way to get down there. So maybe we drive down there and pick them up, or maybe we drive down there and caravan. We'll see how everything works out depending on the timing and everything. I think when we do go down there, I will take the opportunity to do another work day with my colleagues. We've done that every year, a couple times a year, some years. where I get a bunch of my veteran buddies from work that live in the Tampa area, and we'll go out there and do some things. And we may try to build that in as well while we're down there, and just make it a really fun trip. Okay, well, let's see. Toby's in there, my cousin Toby. I saw you were at the Braves game a couple days ago. Well, they beat the Pirates. I think did they beat the Pirates 2 games or 1 game? I know they lost to the Pirates yesterday. They just cannot seem to gain any ground on the Phillies. Still 8 games back, if I recall, and it's just not the same Braves we've had the last couple years. But it's still early, and they're only 8 games back, second place in the National League East. So I'm not worried at all. But it is frustrating, with your favorite team, to see them not really doing like you want them to do. And I think what's worse is I've mentioned this a time or two, not being able to watch the games. I got to figure that out. I still haven't got around to figuring that out. But I do enjoy listening on the radio. When you listen, you have to listen real close. You have to, when you're watching, you can be casual about it. So there is something to be said for listening on the radio. But anyway, I'm a Braves fan, if you can't tell. Oh yeah, I walked it off. Duval, I think, was walked it off Saturday. I think it was, wasn't it? All right. Well, there's my sis right there. Hey, Sharon. Sharon is a little bit younger than me. She's about 11 months younger than me. And Sharon, Dad probably told you we're trying to coordinate a trip down there. And sounds like maybe you guys can only stay a couple days, but we'll work that out. Lori and I'll probably stay longer, but we'd love to have you guys down there, show you around, have you meet Kelly and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Well, listen, Lori, remind me, did I mention Charlotte's birthday last week? Because the week of her birthday, I didn't. I think I missed it. But I couldn't remember if last week I mentioned it was our daughter Charlotte's birthday. I did mention it because I don't know the date. I know it's June 15th, but I don't know the year. Okay, we did talk about that last year. Well, our son Jackson, our youngest, I don't know his birth year either. He flew up there and spent the weekend with her. So, she works for United Airlines, so we have this whole friends and family thing. And so she can get us pretty much anywhere in the world. But Jackson flew up there and spent the weekend with her, and they had a good time. And Charlotte's flying down here tomorrow, I think. Is that right, Lori? I think she's flying in tomorrow, and she'll be here for at least over the 4th of July into the weekend. So excited to see her. Let's see. I can't. Let's see. She's coming down. Yeah, I haven't seen her since we went to Japan together a little bit ago. So it'll be good to have her in town. She hadn't been down in a little while. So that'll be fun. And we're going to have a little gathering at our place for 4th of July. I think Hannah and Everett and Charlotte will be here, Jackson, Caitlin, and Carson. And I think Everett's daddy, Enoch, and his wife, Hannah, and their 2 little twins, Ezra and Maya. I got all the names right. Will be here, I think. And I'm going to do a pork butt. We're going to have pork sandwiches and hamburgers and hot dogs. And I know it's going to be hotter than the Dickens, but it'll be fun. We had a good time. Was it last year, Lori, or the year before we had kind of a gathering at our place? I don't remember if it was last year. But we have something very exciting to celebrate this year. Everett's dad, Enoch, just became an American citizen, and he did it the right way. And Enoch Sarkodie is his name. He's from Ghana originally, and an entrepreneur and a hard worker, and he did it the right way, and became an American citizen, and we're going to celebrate that. And I tell you, I have so much admiration for people that love this country enough and love what it represents and love the freedom that they will do it the right way, go through everything they have to go through, have to take exams that most Americans couldn't pass, And so I have great appreciation. And most of them that are coming here seeking that, they know what oppression is like. They know what socialism is like. And I don't know, I find that many immigrants, legal immigrants, that go about it the right way, are more patriotic than the standard American. And that's true in a lot of cases. And I've known a lot of them being in the tech world and everything. I've interacted with a lot of different people over the years. And um, some of the most patriotic and most grateful Americans are those that came over and are naturalized citizens. So Enoch, yeah, I'm proud of him. He's a good man. And okay, Lori, see, Lori knows. Lori does all this stuff. She knows. She's got him a special cake, so we'll celebrate with a special cake. So maybe we'll take some pics. I know he doesn't like the kids and to be on Facebook and stuff like that, but I'd like to get a pic with Enoch and let you guys see him and celebrate him. So that'll be a special Fourth of July for us here. So and having Charlie home too for a few days, that'll be great. Well, let's see what else is going on here. Uh, Not really a normal week at work. Always plenty to do from sun up till sundown. Um, but it's a short week because the fourth is on a Thursday and it's a national holiday, and it's a holiday for our company. Friday is not. However, I'm the boss, so I told the whole team, including 30 of our new associates in the academy that I lead, to take the day off. They've only been here for 4 weeks. They're only in their fourth week here, but I've told them to use the day as they see fit. If they're still at the lake from 4th of July, stay at the lake. If they need to catch up on their homework or need to catch up on their assignments, do that. But we've given them a little bit of wiggle room on Friday so we don't have to come together and convene. I have plenty to do, but they get a little bit of a break this Friday. They're doing great. This is a great group of 30, largest group we've ever had, and they're really doing good. They're really doing good. Okay, well, let's see. Speaking of work, next week, I'm hoping there's a way I'll be able to share this with you guys eventually. It's an internal only activity, but I don't know if it's going to be recorded where I can share it. But myself and one of the ladies I work with, we are hosting a fireside chat for women veterans at our company, and we have quite a few, and so we've identified about six or seven. They all can't make it, but I think we'll have about four women veterans at our company that me and one of my colleagues are going to interview in a sort of a fireside chat roundtable kind of discussion. That's next. It's the 10th, whenever that is, maybe next Wednesday. So I'm excited about that. I've done several of those, so it's not foreign to me, but it still takes a little preparation, and you got to make sure you're on your game and you've thought of things, and you can pivot and you can feed off their answers and stuff. So I got to get in the right mindset for that. But always enjoy those things. So I'll let you know how that goes. Not next Sunday, but the following Sunday. Oh, speaking of work, and speaking of my 30 new associates, they surprised me this week. This is how astute they were. So this is their fourth week. So they've had 3 Fridays with me and my team. And each Friday, I wear red. You guys remember red, right? Remember, everyone deployed. And so somebody caught on to it. And this is what happened on this past Friday on our first meeting of the day. Let me share with you. It was really kind of a surprise, actually. So I wasn't expecting it. There's only one military veteran in the group. He's a Marine Corps vet. Let's see. There we go. So imagine my surprise when I show up to the first meeting of the day, and here a few of them are out last week, but here's most of them, and they all showed up in their red and surprised me. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they went on to explain to me the meaning of Red Friday. So wow, how about that? That's kind of a proud dad moment. But yeah, it was good, and we had a good time with it, and just kind of shows you how observant they are. And I was really kind of blown away by it. But we'll see if they keep it up. You can see some of the backgrounds there too. So they played this little sneaky joke on me. They mirrored my background. So sometimes I move these flags around down here, but you can see in some of the panels there, they copied my background and made it their background. So very creative group there, generally in their 20s. Many of them just graduated from college this year, but they're really much smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. They got a lot to learn. There's a lot you just can't short circuit experience, but um, what they lack in experience, they sort of make up in determination and interest and everything. But just it's incredible. Can you imagine showing up on Friday and they're all in their red and they're able to articulate why? Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I was really kind of humbled. So that was fun. And in fact, I don't know why I get off on so much work, but there's so much military stuff intertwined with my work, and I like it that way. But anyway, so we have an office in Tampa, and that's the one I used to go to all the time. And because our team in Tampa basically serves the Southern Command, so the Army's a big customer of ours. So we got a lot of our folks down there in Tampa, and we have an office. And anyway, three of the new members of the group and one of the teachers all live in the Tampa area. So they made the journey into the office today, and they got to meet each other in person and stuff. So that was kind of fun. Okay. I'll be traveling to St. Louis on the 15th, 16th, I think, and then back to London on the 20th. So remember, I got this harebrained idea to do the Running to Honor 5K over there. I was just going to originally do it on a Saturday by myself. And then, of course, Lori was going to go with me originally. So she was going to be there with me. She's not going to be able to go now. She's just not going to be recovered well enough to travel. But I got the idea to include some of the folks in the London office. And the interest has been overwhelming. I'm probably going to have 20 people there doing the Running to Honor 5K with me. And one of them is an Army reservist. He works with us. And then one of them is the wife of a naval officer. She is an account manager in our London office. She's going to run with us. Her husband's currently assigned to one of Britain's two aircraft carriers. He's assigned to the HMS Queen Elizabeth. The other is the HMS Prince of Wales. They have two aircraft carriers right now. They're both fairly new, 2017 and 2019, I think. I think they're the same class of carrier. But her husband's currently deployed on there, so she's like, yes, absolutely. So we're going to do it. We're actually going to do it on the Friday, because in London, everybody has to take the train into work, and they come from all over the friggin' place. So to come in on a Saturday is really an inconvenience, especially for a lot of them that live way far out. But so we're going to do it on the Friday. It's going to be a work day, and we'll do the 5K run walk. And I talked to Aaron, the founder of the Running to Honor 5K, and he's going to help me register up to 20 of them, get the race bib, T-shirt, finisher's medal, the whole shebang. And so it'll be good. Aaron's been great. He's I'm going outside of the sort of official register online because there's like 20 of them I need to register. So we're going to work it out that I can just give one big registration for everybody, and I've turned it into an official activity at work. So we'll make a big deal out of it over there and take a bunch of pictures and stuff. But it should be fun. A great tie-in, um, and I get the opportunity to share many of the things that we share here on Speaking of Zane about the fallen on and off the battlefield, and we'll do the like Aaron does at the race in Michigan. We'll read the names on the bib, and then I've already got some other ideas. I'll read um, how many American service members and how many British service members we've lost in Iraq and Afghanistan, and then I'll make it inclusive to our British colleagues there because they've lost many more than people believe in I'll tell you how many. Most people don't realize how many. I'm trying to put two pair of glasses on. How many Brits we've lost? Let me pull that up real quick. It's worth noting, and I'm going to make a big deal about including that as we kick off the race. I pulled the figures here. Let me find them for you. But just a great opportunity. I mean, think about, my team there. There's 14 young folks that are 18, 19, and 20 that are going through this academy that I lead, and they weren't even alive on 9/11, and let alone knowing about Iraq and Afghanistan and the Gulf War, and so this is an opportunity to educate the next generation and not take for granted that somewhere along the way they're going to hear about this. We can be purposeful. So anyway, in Iraq, the UK lost 183 service people. In Afghanistan, they lost 457. So, they stepped up as a strong ally of ours. Now, I'm going to make a big deal about that. So it's not just about us, but it's about all of us. So I couldn't be more excited. I'm going to take my running to honor flag and everything, and just share with you. Maybe I'll get some video and whatnot. So we'll let you guys know how that goes. Okay, well, let's see. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Well, the hat of the week always has something to do with what the heck is going on around here in the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum, or at work, or anything. And since this is the 4th of July weekend, I was thinking, what can I wear for 4th of July week? And this is a hat that Lori is known to order just the craziest stuff that shows up on my doorstep. And this is one of them. We the People. You can read the rest, but I found this laying around. One of the kids brought it up here, and it's We the People. We the People. So there we go. Okay. Well, let's see. I do have a couple of. Well, let me check the chat here and see if anybody else has joined real quick. Well, you won't be there, Lori, but you'll be here, and we have plenty of future races. In fact, I couldn't be more excited about this, and Lori knows. The 2026 Running to Honor 5K is going to be devoted specifically to Specialist Zane Colby McDonald. What? Aaron's never done that. He's never done that where it's been dedicated to one individual. This year is to the Iraq War. Last year was all about Vietnam veterans. In 2016, it's going to be all about Zane. And that's incredible to think about. And I'll have to come up with some words. I know that we're going to go up there, and Aaron's probably going to ask me to say something at the onset or whatever. So I have to think about how do I put that into to words what it means to us for somebody to call out specifically our son who didn't die on the battlefield, but after the battlefield and be heralded, you know. Anyway, I couldn't be more excited. And I can't wait to get to Michigan. They tell me it's an absolute, I've only been to the Detroit airport, so that's not really Michigan, is it? I can't wait. We'll build a little trip around it. But I will tell you that any of you that want to come with us, you're welcome. If you want to go to Michigan, come on. We're going. I don't know if we're going to drive or fly. Probably fly. It's a long drive, but I wouldn't mind a road trip because you have to go right up through Kentucky bourbon country. Maybe that's something we build in. But anyway, be thinking about that. 2026, July 2026. It'll be the 10th year since Zane passed, so it's kind of makes sense um, that to do that that year. But all right, my dad said he's going. Okay, well he's driving. Dang, if he can drive, I'll drive. But yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I so appreciate Aaron and what he's done, picking up the ball and forming that organization and the proceed. You know, not only does Running to Honor acknowledge those that we've lost, but you know, financially, the proceeds benefit um, a couple of local organizations there where he lives, primarily at VFW, and just an amazing story of what one soldier can do, you know, and it's just incredible. I appreciate Aaron and appreciate chatting with him over the weekend, and we're working out this whole thing about London, and so I appreciate it. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, I do have some this week in military history items. Obviously, July the 4th, right? Independence Day. Did you know the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th? Most of the delegates of the Second Continental Congress signed the document on August 2nd. So it was about a month, almost a month um, there. But July 4th, you know, formally acknowledged as, you know, Independence Day, and that was the day that the Declaration was adopted. So how about that? It's probably Lori's favorite holiday. um, and I don't blame her for that. She's very patriotic, but I love it. And then, you know, my friend Steve, if you'll forgive me for this, I should have mentioned this last week, and I don't think that I did. It wasn't in my notes. I did share it, like most of it, on Facebook, like most of us on Facebook. But on June the 25th of 1996, we had a terrorist bombing at the Khobar Towers in Saudi Arabia. And our colleague and friend, Master Sergeant Mike Heiser, was killed. He was among 19 airmen that were killed that day in that bombing. And this is pre-social media, um, you know, early internet, and I probably didn't know about. You know, we all saw the bombing on the news, but I didn't know about Mike until probably years later. Steve, I don't know when you found out, but it it was, you know, we didn't have this robust social network, you know. So the word had to travel from one person to another, phone calls or maybe email. But it was probably a couple years passed by before many of us realized that Mike, who we served with at Mildenhall, was among the dead. And just a terrible tragedy that day. So many things. You can go read the account of everything and what happened. And of course, our posture probably wasn't the strongest in the moment, but a tragedy there. We lost a colleague and a friend, somebody we spent a lot of time with, flying those secure missions all over Europe and spending, you know, time together on alert in the Azores. That's where I remember hanging out with Mike the most. But just a terrible Terrible thing. So rest in peace, Mike, and the other 18 that perished that day. Okay, how about this for a date? July the 1st. That would be today, wouldn't it? July the 1st of 1985. Where were you on July 1st of 1985? Where were we, Lori? We were in England, weren't we? July 1st, 85. Yeah, we got there. I got there in January 84. Lori got there in later later that year. 85 comes around. July 1st of 85. Lori would have been halfway pregnant. But July 1st, 1985, our friend Daryl retired after almost 22 years in the United States Air Force. How about that? Daryl, congratulations. Thank you for your service, 22 years in the Air Force, everything that you did in the Vietnam era and on into the Cold War. And you were a mentor to many, including myself as an 18-year-old. So thank you for that. And I know you've been retired a long time now, but I remember you fondly those years. So congratulations on your anniversary of your retirement. Let's see. Let me see what Steve had here. 29 June 55. Yeah, yeah. I saw this the other day, Steve. That's great. So the first operational B-52. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Wow. That thing is incredible. Now they're talking about an engine refit, and it's just one of the most successful airframes ever. The three that come to mind for me are the B-52, the C-135, and the C-130. C-130 still being manufactured, new ones, but the two that have endured the longest lasting airframes, the B-52 and the KC-135 and its variants. But yeah, incredible. It's one of my favorite little memes on Facebook. You guys may have seen this. Is since the B-52 came the B-1 and then the B-2, and I think the meme goes something like, "There's a B-52 passing by, and the caption is like a B-2 retirement ceremony interrupted by um, pattern work by the B-52 or touch and goes by B-52." Just a classic. Whoever thought that up is brilliant. That the B-52s will be flying after two of its predecessors have been retired. Just incredible visual. Okay, well, let's see. So that was it for this week in military history. Let's move on to a couple of our challenges here. We do a veteran cemetery challenge for those of you that might be listening, watching the recording, and wonder what the heck is he talking about, veteran cemetery challenge. Well, we got the idea a few years ago that if any of us ever visit a veteran cemetery, a national cemetery, that we would tell each other about it and we would share about it. And Lori and I did the very first one on our way to Texas to visit our daughter when she was at Texas A&M, and it just kind of caught on from there. We would never have done that had we not had to place our own son in one, and then we became hyper in tune, hypersensitive to veteran cemeteries and the hallowed ground that they are. And so we started doing this a few years ago, and you guys stepped up and came alongside us. And so every week we chronicle that. And this week, Jefferson Barracks, I think, Daryl, I think you went yesterday, if I remember right. My dad, I always got my dad counted for a couple, and my sis counted for one. They're regular visitors to my mom. And then Jim Miller, I got your two visits to Omaha National Cemetery this week, and Jim always visits our colleague Todd Vanderwerken. Roy Walton, and Corporal Dagan Page, that was killed in the disaster withdrawal from Afghanistan. And so, Jim, thank you for both those visits and letting us know about that. I tell you what, their families just must be so pleased that people um, visit their family member. And we don't have to; nobody has to, but we do it, don't we? And I tell you, I love that folks. When I know or hear that somebody has visited Zane, I am just so overwhelmed and appreciative. It's just somebody remembered our son, you know. But so let's see that I made a visit. Speaking of our son, I made a visit yesterday, so I had to run to Cartersville to pick up some prescriptions for Lori, and I'm like, man, I'm this far. It's just another 10 miles, so I went on out and spent a little time out there. Came back, did some shopping. They have all the entryway into the cemeteries. They've got the American flags posted. They do that on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. It really looks nice. So I made a visit, and then Ken made a couple of visits. Ken was up in there for work. Believe it or not, there's organizations that pay him for his advice in his retirement, and he was doing one of those things up in that area, and he made a couple of visits to Arlington. And I know that anytime Ken goes to Arlington, he makes a few side trips, and he visited Mike Heiser and others, and he also visited his parents who rest there. If you recall, Ken's father's a Pearl Harbor survivor. Ken shares that story with us each year. But Ken, thank you for chronicling that and the great pictures that you posted. He also made a visit to Alexandria National Cemetery, which is a lot smaller than Arlington, but very quaint. I enjoyed it. I've been there. Um, but Ken, thank you for sharing that with us. That's fantastic. And I think that was it. So if I add those up, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I added 10. So that takes our count up to 1,222. So 1,222 times somebody in this group or connected with this group has visited a veteran cemetery. Would that have happened otherwise? I don't know. Over some period of time, maybe, but appreciate you guys doing that. Well, let's see. What does Steve say here? His American Legion post conducted a remembrance service for a Civil War vet who was awarded the Medal of Honor at Vicksburg. I've been to the Vicksburg battlefield. It's fantastic. Okay, so we got some thank yous here. 8 members of the Offutt Air Force Base Honor Guard. Awesome. Awesome. So that takes us to our next challenge, which is the Thank a Vet challenge. So in the course of our daily lives, if we come across a veteran or a active duty service member or a first responder, we take a minute to either say thank you or appreciate you or strike up a conversation. And if we do that, we share that with each other and we begin to quantify those interactions. And now Steve and Ken are funneling in their interactions for the week. So that's going to force me to do a little arithmetic here. So let's go with Steve first. Steve had 8. So we'll add that in. And then, not to be outdone, his colleague Ken had 11. So Ken is right there on my list. So we're going to go 11. And 11 and 8 is 19. That's good of you. Defer to your elder, Ken. 11, that's 19, 20, 21, 22. So if we add, see, Ken was brought up right to respect his elders, right, Ken? So 19, All right, so 28. So we're at 2886 is where we stand. So we're getting close to our next sort of threshold of 3,000 thank yous. How about that? 2,886. So we're closing in, getting close to the 100 left to reach the 3,000 mark. So thank you guys for doing that. It's a lot of fun when we can categorize that. Oh, how about that? There's my buddy Todd coming in here. So he has a son. So Ken or Todd, did your son? What branch did he start out in? Did he start out Air Force and then go Space Force, or was he Marine and went Space Force? Todd will pipe in there. Todd's a Marine Corps vet and an Air Force vet. Todd, his early years, he was a Marine. Oh, new to the Space Force. Okay, the youngest. Okay, I'm with you. Well, congratulations, boy! I tell you what, that's outstanding. But Todd started out as a Marine, saw the error of his ways, and became an Air National Guardsman, where he finished it all out. But well, that's fantastic. So we're going to add. This will be man. This may be the first Space Force thank you in our Think of Vet challenge. Um, that's incredible. So we'll make that 19. It'll be 23. So we'll add another. So 2,887, and that might be our first Space Force thank you. How about that? Wow, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Todd. So he's out of the Marines and now the Air National Guard, right there in the 165th, where his old man served. How about that? Incredible. Just incredible. Where's the time go, Todd? Man, we are getting old, aren't we, brother? Just incredible. Just incredible. Well, tell your son you got a group of patriotic Americans here that wish him well and appreciate his service. So, good stuff. All right. Well, good. I appreciate you guys playing along. When I tell people that I interact with at work and otherwise what we do here, they can't believe it. They're just amazed that we actually interact with veterans and tell them thank you, and that we visit national cemeteries. They can't. They're blown. People are blown away when I tell them that. So it's fantastic. All right. Well, let's move on here since we're getting a little bit long here through the organizations. The only thing I have to report here that we have a lot of organizations that we come across. Many of you support financially and otherwise. Many that we support financially and otherwise. Many we interact with or involved with. And whenever we find an organization that's doing good work on behalf of veterans and service members, we list it and we chronicle it. We talk about it. We got this entire list, and anytime some new activity comes up with one of those, I put it in red and try to highlight it. But I mentioned last week about the Nebraska Veterans Memorial, Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Steve had been to. Now Jimbo's been there. So Jim Miller has stopped by there and seen it, and I know many of you that are in the Omaha area will eventually go and see it. I can't wait to get back up there and see it myself. I already mentioned the Running to Honor and the great work that Aaron's doing with me to make sure I can have my London colleagues participate and feel included there. So I appreciate Aaron. And then I mentioned my Warriors Place. So we're going to work that out, a visit sometime, me and Lori and my dad and my sister. Kelly is excited to host us, so we'll have to work the dates out and look forward to that. Okay, well, let's see. I think that's all I've got tonight. I'm about out of breath, but I sure appreciate you guys coming along, joining us for another edition of Speaking of Zane. Next week we'll do it again, and we'll be able to report on the activities of the 4th of July. We'll do that Sunday night. Will be our edition of Speaking of Zane, and then we'll see where we go from there. Appreciate everybody. Have a great week coming up. I know it's a short week for many. It's an interruptive week for many because some of you are going to have to work on Friday, but hope to see you all back here again Sunday night for another edition of Speaking of Zane. Take care, everybody. Appreciate you so much.